Hey Brittany, are you on? Hey everyone, how are you doing? It is 3 minutes from, or about 2 minutes now from 8 p.m. and we're gonna get started in just a little bit. Hey Brittany, are you on?
Hey Terry, I'm here. Hi everyone.
Hey Cleopatra, do like Cleopatra, everyone. Use your chat. Let us know who you are, where you're coming from, what city you're in, and also what industry you're in if you do have an online business currently. Hi Stacy. Hey Long Island. Okay, so you're preparing for the same snowstorm I'm preparing for. Hey Stephanie from KC. Inaja, I hope I'm saying that correctly, from Tampa. We have an Allison from Saginaw, Gabrielle, Jillian, Tammy. Wow, great to have everyone on. Thank you so much for attending. We're about a minute from 8. We have Joy from Atlanta, Jasmine from North Carolina, Rachel from Phoenix, Jody from Toronto. I just saw Stacy said that schools are closed already. Yeah, I
Oh,
know
wow.
what it's like. So, Brittany, what they're saying is that it's could be up to 20 inches. So guess who's staying home and not doing anything tomorrow?
Wow, that is crazy. We have a little bit of snow here. I'm in Michigan. We have like 2 inches though, so nothing like that.
Awesome. Hey, Kayla from Baton Rouge, Charleston. Hi, Samantha. Definitely want to visit your city. I've only been hearing great things. Susie from Texas. Which part of Texas? Because I'm a die-hard Dallas Cowboys fan. Please let me know if you're from the DFW area. Oh, nice. Go Cowboys. Let's go. Kayla's with it. All right, we're gonna run a quick poll really quickly just so that you guys um could let us know where you are in business. We want to make sure that this training is as helpful to you as possible and make sure that future trainings are super helpful for wherever you are too. So in the chat you should see a poll starting. Go ahead and kind of just check which box defines you. Oh, Kathia from Puerto Rico. Great to have you on. Annabelle from Ohio. I see Demetria from Alabama. I'm also a diehard Crimson Tide fan. as well. So great to have you on. Let's see how this poll is doing. Okay. So just guys, just keep filling in. Just kind of mark where you are. We're probably gonna end the poll in like a minute, so just kind of throw your response in there, just so that we can have a sense of where everyone is and how we can help you best. Ah, I have an Auburn fan in the room. Ugh, Samantha, we were so close to being friends. Oh my gosh. Hey, Caitlin from Colorado. I see Kurt from Utah. Who else do we have? Oh, Brenda from Dallas. Okay, go Cowboys indeed. Oh, Clemson Tigers. Oh, sorry about that. Oh man, that's a sore spot actually. I remember losing to you guys in January. I see Taylor from Charleston. Oh, Tiara from Philly. I expected you not to like the Cowboys. That's fine. And Kurt, you'll be getting a replay of the training via email. So not immediately tonight, but tomorrow morning, a replay will be available for you. So if you have to cut out, don't worry. We're definitely recording everything. Um, awesome. So I also have my wife in the chat moderating. So anyone who has a question, you could actually pull down the little bubble by your chat box and it'll say ask a question. It'll mark that question in red, just so that we're quick to answer any questions you may have. Um, Elsa from Portugal. Wow. Hi from very, very far away. That's so awesome. All right, let's see how this poll is doing. Um, all right, so we're gonna end this poll right now. So just to give you guys a quick summary breakdown, about half of you, a little bit over half of you, don't have a store yet, but you are thinking of starting one. So this is great that you're on this training and you're doing your research early on. About 30% of you have a store, but you haven't gotten any sales yet. We'll definitely want to help you guys fix that problem ASAP. And about 18% of you have a store currently and you are getting sales. So this is good, good spread of the room. Stacy, the webinar is starting right now. So Brittany, I'm gonna go ahead and just introduce myself and then we're gonna have you come back in a little bit. Is that good?
That's good. Take it away.
All right. So you guys are already a bit familiar with how awesome Brittany is. So now I get the chance to just introduce myself really quickly with an anecdote. But first, just gonna designate this officially as a no distraction zone. So that means if you can throw your phone on silent, minimize any other browser tabs that may be open, grab some headphones and some water like I have, so you don't have to get away, so that when we do get into the core of the training, you don't have any distractions at all. So this is a period of time I like to call before the beard. This is me in medical school, what feels like ages ago, and maybe about 2 years into it, I was doing well in the program, but I didn't necessarily feel like this would be my end all be all, my life path. So I decided to take a year off, and I said, I'll explore some things, go travel. I actually ended up working in a clinic for a good amount of that time. But I said, at the end of that year, um, I wanted to make sure that I made the best decision. So if nothing else came about, then I would, go back to school. But if not, but if something else did happen, then I would kind of like ride that wave. So I'm gonna switch the slide to my other mini career in fashion blogging. This is what kind of really introduced me to the digital space and especially to e-commerce. I had started a fashion blog with a good buddy of mine from high school, and it definitely got bigger than intended. But during that time, after getting a lot of exposure to some really good brands, I was also working a cool corporate job in a an online startup, really competitive online startup, and that allowed me to see a lot of the behind the scenes of what goes on into making a successful business. They were doing um, close to 10 million a year, and a lot of that taught me that successful businesses are replicable. Like there are real systems that work that allow people to make what we would initially think as ridiculous amount of money online. So through that, I started to take the lessons that I was learning in that startup and apply it to other people's businesses, and eventually I got to work with some really, really cool brands all across the way. And slowly but surely, I transitioned out of my traditional 9 to 5 into full-time consulting. So my business expertise has been featured in some really, really great media outlets. They've allowed me to share my voice and my advice to people all around the world, and that's how I got to be where I am today. And now I have the privilege of being able to share some of these things with you. So, enough about me. You are the focus of this training because you want to learn how to make your business or potential business better. So you're here because you want to be able to make more money in your online store, and if it were that simple, I wouldn't have the asterisk, but I do because you also want to be able to do that without emptying your bank account on ads. That's really important. If you know anything about online marketing, it's that it can get really, really expensive. So we want to, avoid that as much as possible. And who is this webinar for? Primarily for online store owners who are either already in business and want to ramp up their sales, or for those who are just starting out and want to have the right strategy in place to maximize, and that's a key word, to maximize the value of your customers down the line. And if you don't have a store yet, again, it's the same thing. You want to know ahead of time what strategies you can use that can make you have a sustainable business, and that's what we want to see all of you have. So, why'd you show up today? You understand the importance of marketing your business, but you don't have millions of dollars just laying around to spend on ads. And we'll definitely talk about a real live example of how that could actually hurt your business later on. And also, you need a way to drive consistent income, to have consistent revenue to your online store. It's really, really important. You need to have money that you can count on. So we'll start with what I consider to be the number one lie in e-commerce, and it's that to get sales, you have to have massive traffic. And I think that is absolutely dead wrong, and I'll tell you why. So, if you've heard this before, and you'll see that across every major business journal or e-commerce blog, it's that average conversion, which is the amount of people who actually purchase your stuff versus the amount of people who visit your site. That's usually around 2%. So they're saying that out of every 100 people who actually see what you have to offer, 2 people act on it. Um, so, of course, the logic goes that, hey, if I can just bring more massive traffic to my site, then that 2% starts to weigh more. It starts to be way more significant because that's at least one thing that I can count on, one guarantee. And it makes you run to cool platforms like Facebook if you're into ads, and you do a little bit of that, right? Just shut up and take my money, whatever it takes for me to get my 2% to actually count, then I'll be happy. But is that the right move? Is that the right thing that you should be doing for your business? And I say not exactly. I think there is a little bit of a gray area. It's not as simple as black and white. And I'll get into the example now. Um, and I call this section the good, the bad, and the money. So the great thing, which is really awesome, especially for the non-business owners yet, is that new online businesses are starting every single day. So that means there's always an opportunity, there's always a chance to sell something and to do it successfully. Um, bad of that is that though your business is starting, a new business is starting every day, when you think about the ad pool that you're buying into, the number of people doesn't necessarily grow as quickly as the number of businesses does. So even though businesses are starting every day, it's you're trying to compete for that same pool. And so you are charged accordingly. That's what makes ads expensive, and that's what has made Facebook very, very rich. Because you're essentially in this kind of bidding war for clicks, for likes, and also for sales, which means again that things can get expensive for you as a small business owner or future business owner really, really quickly. So we'll look at an example of a company that had millions of dollars in their marketing budget, and that was Nasty Gal. If you've seen the news recently, um, the company is not what it once was, and we'll talk about why. So, how do you go from almost making $100 million in a year to complete bankruptcy? It was late last year that they actually filed for Chapter 11 after posting significant earnings of close to 100 million in 2012, which is just four or five short years earlier. And what they did is that they burned through millions of dollars with an unsustainable strategy. And that was that they poured so much capital in to advertising and marketing to drive traffic. But without retention, and that is like the word of the day, you won't have a business for long. So what they did is that they focused on getting so many new people in the door that they didn't have enough repeat customers to support their business long term. And so they got into a position where even though they'd taken on investment and a whole ton of money and they'd used all that money now, they burned through that cash, that the business could no longer sustain itself. There was an open bid and it sold for just a fraction of the potential of what it could have made. And that's with only one bid on the table. So it was almost like virtually no one wanted it. And the sad fact is that even though this business grew from just this tiny eBay store and just the pure hustle of the founder Sofia Amorosa, the end of the business is that, after making all that money, you had this one company buy it and not necessarily buy the business as it is. They didn't buy the operations of it. They literally just bought the intellectual property, the ability to use the Nasty Gal name in whatever future iteration that they'll have it. So imagine having a business that had served all these customers for that many years and then all of a sudden kind of just having it essentially disappear. And the key is that it wasn't all of a sudden, it was that from the very beginning, they didn't invest in the right strategy. So what's the lesson? The lesson, the tough lesson, the moral of this sad story is that it pays to actually keep the customers that you get. That's the most important thing. When you get a customer, you have to keep them because for most businesses, you really break even after you've kind of put your ad money into it and gotten the traffic to get that person to checkout. You're breaking even on their first purchase. It's usually in their second, third, fourth, fifth purchase that you as a company actually start making a profit. So that's important to understand and to remember that getting a first purchase is just par for the course. That's just getting you to break even. Maybe you'll make a little bit more, but it's really you start to profit after they make their second, third, and fourth purchases. So how do you do that, right? And it starts with email marketing. It's really important tactic that a lot of successful business, especially the ones that I consult and that I've come from, have done. So we're gonna do another poll in the chat for the current business owners, and I want to see if you actually um, use email marketing in your business already. So I'm gonna go ahead and load that poll, and we're gonna let it run for maybe a minute or so. So when you see the poll running at that same kind of right sidebar, just kind of let me know if you are a current business owner, if you do use email marketing in your business. Right now, it's about 8:18, so let's say we'll run this till 8:20, just to get a sense of everyone's familiarity or not with email marketing as a sales tool and a sales channel. All right, while you do that, I'm going to grab a sip of water really quickly before we continue the training. All right, so maybe 30 more seconds to give everyone a chance who would respond an option to do the poll. All right, so let's just end the poll here. And an overwhelming majority of you do not use email marketing at all. So that's about a 70 to 30 split of people who don't use it at all, and business owners who use it only occasionally. So um, it's good because I get to show you why you should be using it. It's bad because you should have been using it already, but that's okay. We're gonna fix that tonight as well. So let's go back and continue. So again, here is what's, the traditional customer journey that everyone kind of knows about, right? It's usually um, shaped like a funnel because it really is. That awareness level is pretty much where you put all of your ad money to get as many people as possible, like logic or so tells you to do. Then you slowly but surely bring them down. You garner their interest, you get them to a decision point, and then you hope that they take an action, right? And that's what traditional businesses like. Again, it's really heavy at the top, and you only get a mini return at the bottom. So it's that same 2% rule where you have 100 people at that awareness stage, but by the time it's at the end of the action stage, you only have two people who actually purchased on average. So I hope I'm not the only one that sees a problem with that. But again, I'll elaborate a little bit. But one, a problem is that people literally leak out along the way, right? That's the only way you go from having, that initial pool of 100 potential customers to that final result of two customers. So people leak out along the way. And as a business, like we've seen even with Nasty Gal, if you're too focused on what's going into the top of that funnel, then you're really missing out on the opportunity that's coming out of the bottom. And those are the people who actually pay for your products, the people who will actually give you the reviews and the referrals and the repeat business that actually keeps your business, not only just surviving, but thriving. So, again, just to illustrate it, basic customer journey, big arrow of what traffic gets you when you, of course, pay for it, but then a teeny tiny little arrow of the actual result of that traffic. And you need to find a way to make that bottom arrow a little bigger. Why? I would think if you are anything like me, that you didn't get into online retail just to make money off of 2% of people that visit your site. And it's not at all selfish to want more, especially how hard you work on getting your business up and running and you want it to be super successful. So, but what if you were able to plug the leaks along the way so that people stop leaking out across that funnel? What if you can guide more people to the shopping cart along the way? And what if you can take the customers that come out of that bottom of that funnel and you get to reinsert them at a lower level? You'd reinsert them at that decision point instead of all the way at awareness, right? Because they're already familiar with your brand. And that way you'd get them to convert a lot quicker. So you need to be able to keep prospects engaged all the way through. You need to be able to take those prospects who are engaged, who were at that awareness stage. For all of my new business owners who haven't gotten any sales yet, you have to be able to engage them into that conversion. And then once you've converted them into customers, you now need to be able to create repeat customers because that's where your business will start to see a profit. Remember, the initial cost in marketing, or what they call customer acquisition cost, you usually break even on that first purchase. So you really need to focus on making customers into second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 1,000, to their 1,000th purchase, so that you can actually start to see sustainable profit in your business. So this is what I call a simplified version of email marketing, where, at the very top of that or at the very beginning of that funnel is organic or paid traffic, most likely paid, because if you know anything about Facebook um, and Instagram, most of those things are really just pay to play. Organic reach has gone down severely from what it was years ago, where people would actually build their businesses on Facebook. So this is totally different. This definitely does start to necessitate some capital investment, but you use that money to get the traffic. Then what I work with all of my clients is email capture. That is your first step to success. Why? Because regardless of what you sell online, every transaction ends in the inbox, whether you're sending someone their receipt, whether you're sending them their shipping notification and tracking information, whether you're letting them know that they are, getting their item delivered on Wednesday at 8 p.m. There's email is used all across e-commerce. So imagine if you already use that section called transactional emails, but you're missing out on all the other profit that you can make from using email in its totality. So instead of just focusing on one part of that spectrum, you would be able to use email to do so many other things. And I always refer to email as the MVP of your sales and marketing strategy because it does so many things. But we'll start with a basic one, um, and just wanted to reiterate that the magic of email is just in the sequencing. It's not really about that single email that you send. If you even think about it, maybe during holiday time, there might be a company that you somehow, some way got on their email list, and as soon as Black Friday comes, they hit you with 8 emails in a 2 hour period, right? Um, at that point, if you're anything like me, you either question how you got into the onto their email list in the first place, or you just totally delete them as they come in because it's inundated and they've made no investment with you. They've never really introduced themselves before. They're not building any kind of affinity with you and letting them know why their product should be your product of choice. They're just saying, here's a sale, take advantage of it, give me your money. So the magic in email marketing is really in the sequencing, is really being able to take someone on that journey to conversion instead of just trying to stuff a sale down their throat. And why is that sequence so important? It's really because you want to train the people who are on your email list to open emails from you, especially when they're not transactional emails. If you can get someone to open an email from you that they weren't waiting for, that it's not something that they know, hey, I've just paid my money, so I need to get my shipping confirmation. Um, that's how you know you're building an actual customer relationship, that they're excited to hear from you when it's not necessarily tied to something that they paid for already. And that's a sign that you're building a relationship that you can profit from for a really, really, really long time. So, how do you even start to do that? And it starts with a basic welcome sequence. So, when you guys get the replay email to this training, if you ever want to review anything again, you'll also find attached to it is a sample welcome sequence. I've done it all for you, created a guideline with 4 sample emails already filled in, and you can just pretty much plug and chug it. And you'll also get another. Um, Email content creation engine, so to speak. That's another download. But you'll get those two in your email. But basically, we'll start with a welcome sequence and what it needs to accomplish in order for it to be effective at converting a new lead. So, there are really 4 goals with a welcome sequence, and it's to introduce your brand, it's to set expectations as far as the frequency of communication, something as simple as, hey, we send a newsletter every week. It's, third, but this should have stars and banners and everything all around it because it's super important. It's to deliver value. That is your goal as a business owner. At the forefront is to always deliver value and to position your business as something that's valuable to that lead or customer. And finally, it's to incentivize a purchase. So those are the 4 goals of your welcome sequence, and I'll take you through it step by step now. So the introduction, right? This is about building affinity. It's that like, know, and trust factor that really makes some brands stand out, that make you, stand on lines overnight for your Apple products, right? It's all about really endearing yourself to your customer. And this is where you discuss things like your mission, your vision, and your values, pretty much the why of what you do, right? Those are the important, that's how you start to build a real relationship with a customer, because we have to remember that even though you're selling online, and it's a different dynamic and people can't just walk into your store and go speak to the owner, the thing that doesn't change is that level of connectivity. You want to be able to make a real impact on that lead or that customer to start to bring them back into the fold and really again build affinity with them. So this is a perfect time for you to really discuss the why of what you do. Um, and it's also a chance to validate why they're on your list in the first place. And for me, I always think of it as referencing your ideal customer. So let's say if I were a shoe company, I would explain that, on a trip to Spain in college. I went to a local cobbler and fell in love with the art of shoemaking, and I wanted to bring that back to the US. So all of our, products, let's say, are made at family-owned factories in Spain. And I'd reference my ideal customer as being the world traveler, the explorer, someone who appreciates quality and craftsmanship, right? As a quick example, but those are the kind of things that start to connect with that customer um, over time so that before you even mention anything about them, investing into you, you're kind of investing into the emotional aspect of that relationship. The second goal is setting expectations, or what I call setting the bar. And the real benefit of that is that you want to avoid email fatigue at all costs, right? So in one of the previous examples I shared, let's say it's Black Friday and you get 8 emails from a company that you've never really interacted with before, it's going to be super easy for you to go ahead and click unsubscribe, right? Because they didn't say, hey, during the holidays, we send a massive amount of emails, bear with us, right? There was no kind of personalization or humanization of their brand for you to say, okay, I'm expecting to get 8 emails, so that won't be the cause of me leaving the list and kind of totally canceling out my interest in the company. So this is your chance to clearly communicate the frequency of your emails, but also the value of engagement. So again, back to my imaginary shoe company. Let's say, I also had a blog for my business and it would be focused on travel. So let's say every week in our weekly newsletter, we'll send you a travel story from, um, you know, one of our staff members that has made a trip to a certain country around the world. And it's, what to see, where to stay, and what to eat. And that'll be part of the email. So even if someone is peripherally interested in your shoes because they fit your ideal customer description, they're definitely interested in travel. So they'd want to see and read stories like that. So every Friday at noon, let's say, they'd be the ones to pop in to that email that they receive. So again, when you're setting those expectations, it's about, hey, what's in it for that customer? Why in the world should they choose to open your email amongst all the, emails that they get? And secondly, why should they stick around? What's the benefit of them actually opening your email every week or every 2 days or however long you've already intended, or let them know that you intend to send them emails? Now, the next thing, which again, is the most important thing, so cue the stars and the fireworks and all that stuff, is that as a business owner, if you've never heard it before, I personally want you to start thinking of it as providing value first. That is essential. Before you could hope to make a sale, you have to position yourself as an actual resource that someone can come to with whatever is, ailing them in your particular industry. So if let's say back to my imaginary shoe company, if that ideal customer had trouble finding a well-made, comfortable, quality shoe at, the price point between, or under $300, right? That would be where I position myself. So part of that would be, content about how comfortable the shoe is, how it's constructed, that it has these layers or insoles in them that allow them to be broken in without, breaking your toes or some other kind of catch line that would make it interesting, right? So again, the problem solution model, what's really in it for your customer, how can you help them? And that's something really, really important before you even try to sell your product directly, you again want to position yourself as a resource for that potential customer. Um, and part of that is again to verbalize the discontent, verbalize what the issue is. Hey, I can't find shoes that are under $300 that actually will last me, a couple years, and that feel good, right? And then you use that opportunity to position your product as the hero, as the thing that is, indeed coming to their rescue. And finally, in this email sequence, now after you've taken the time and really invested in that relationship, now you can start to make an offer. You can now repeat whatever incentive it was for them to purchase your product, and you do something that I don't think a lot of companies do enough is that you sell the transformation, the point between, or the line rather between point A and B, right? So where they are before they were aware and had access to your product, and where they are after they actually make the purchase. Are they happier? Can they walk for longer? Because again, if our, imaginary shoe company and our ideal customer is a traveler. If you are like me, when you travel, you walk around a lot. You want to see the sights, you want to get a feel for everything that's around you. So you want to be able to do that in a really nice and comfortable shoe. So maybe that's the transformation that I'm selling, that you can actually explore without, getting corns and bunions and all these other things on your feet because you have a really quality shoe. So again, you repeat the ad incentive, you sell the transformation, and then you have a clear call to action. I can't say that enough, that there are not enough companies, especially new businesses, that are kind of spending some time in trial and error and trying to figure themselves out, that you never just say, hey, shop now. Something so simple that you've kind of taken them through this sequence. They are getting to the point that they understand the value of your product to them. And you have to be explicit in telling your potential customer what you want them to do next. Really, really important. But again, a lot of people miss it, especially early on in business. They're tentative. They don't want to say something as explicit as that. But you want to have a call to action, something that motivates them to do what you want them to do. Um, but again, it only works if you're consistent. And that's really the power of email marketing, in that with automation, you can create processes and sequences that respond to whatever customer scenario that you can anticipate, right? So and it gives you the opportunity to leverage whatever content. So if your business has an associated, blog or a video blog, or if you're, maybe selling baking products and you give away, an online, download of recipes. There's other things that you can do. You can use email to leverage that content so that you're not only creating lasting customer relationships, things that you can profit from in the long term, but you're also making your brand more valuable. And remember, that's what I wish I could have, had stars and fireworks go off when I said that word value. But it's really, really important that among uh, all the other competition in whatever industry you're in or what you want to go into, you have to make your brand stand out. And it stands out based on its value to the customer. That's the only way that you can really, really, really make a difference, is if you actually position your product, not only your product, but your brand as a whole, as something valuable, as something customers want to interact with, and of offers that they want to take advantage of. And that way, you can start to plug those leaks. Remember, in our initial funnel, you can start to plug the leaks so that people aren't spilling out along the way. You'd be able to now guide more leads to your shopping cart because you've not only introduced your brand and set some expectations, but you've primarily provided value and you've made an offer that they're now primed to take advantage of. That's really, really important. You don't want to make an offer before someone is primed, and that's where a lot of companies get it wrong. But thankfully, your company won't because you're attending this training. And finally, you get to now reinsert those customers into that funnel so that they convert again and they do that quicker. So now, once you have an email scenario set up, um, you can do something like this really simply after they get to the first sale and they have whatever transactional emails. You bring them right back into the content loop and you do the same thing. You just keep providing more and more value, and then you hit them with an offer and an incentive, and you do it again and again until they make their second, their third, their fourth, their fifth, their sixth purchase. Because remember, at that first sale, most companies, they break even on customer acquisition costs. It's really that they start to profit when you hit that second and third sale, because now that customer has now gone beyond paying for themselves. So whatever ad money you spent to get them to your site, by the time they make their second sale, you're more profitable because of it. And that should be your goal so that you could avoid the fate of a great company like Nasty Gal, who again just decided to invest too much into the top of that funnel and not enough at the bottom. So imagine being able to drive consistent revenue to your online store. I can't stress it enough. Having worked with six and seven and eight figure businesses now, that there's this importance of knowing that at least you have a baseline for your month so that you know exactly, hey, I can count on this amount of revenue. And imagine not having to start at zero every month. So with a lot of new businesses, I see it's that, hey, we take whatever starter capital you had, you push it into ads, you get a few sales, and at the end of the month, you don't have enough to just continue the system. You have to now find more capital and add more ads so that you can get people to your store, hopefully convert a few of them. And then again, in the third month, you're starting from zero. So it's always this upward climb of going up this mountain where you don't have this foundation where you're like, hey, I make X amount every month at base, and now all of my ad money and all my other strategies are being used to go on top of that. Imagine having a reliable strategy running in the background. So again, you can focus on growing your business. If something that could take these customers, these people coming out of the bottom of that funnel all the time and start to get them to buy more and buy more often, so you can now focus on building on that base. Um, and imagine not having to chase customers down to buy your products, to have to send them, a ton of emails, to have to spend a ton of money on ads just to have the opportunity to have them see your website and hopefully convert. It's not the right way to run a sustainable business. And there are so many examples of that not happening. So, what if you could actually get more ROI with the traffic that you pay for? So if you actually spend 100, thousand, $10,000 on ads, you're getting customers that not are only buying for that one time, but you're actually getting customers that you can keep. And the goal is now to get those same customers who've made that leap from, lead to customer to now become repeat customers, to not only buy more of your products and to increase their, average order value, but to buy more often, to increase their customer lifetime value. And that's what's really important. That's what separates a good business that might make it from a great business that will make it. Um, and can you just imagine what your bottom line would look like at the end of each month that you know that, hey, I'm consistently bringing in this amount and I'm doing more each and every month, compounded on top of the other to bring in more business? I'm guessing that your bottom line would actually look really, really good. And the thing is that you can actually do this, that there is something available that allows you to do this, and it doesn't take an MBA or business degree or any special skill set to actually sell more of the products that you sell online. You really just need the right system, something that can run in the background while you spend your other efforts growing your business in other ways, something that can get you that consistent revenue month to month. And that's why I created Inbox to Income, and it's an email marketing course specifically for online store owners and future online store owners. And let me just take you through the 7 lessons of it, and it starts to build on the concept from start to finish, just like we did in this quick training. Is that we'll start with what I like to call email marketing explained, and really goes deeper into the difference again between customer acquisition and customer retention, and what separates email marketing from all other marketing strategies. We'll go into learning the lingo, because at the end of the day, you have to be fully educated on the strategies that you use so that you can actually read the reports that you get from your email service providers, and that you can actually make informed decisions on how to adjust and optimize your strategy. We'll talk about lead generation and the buyer journey. So, beyond ads, how do you actually capture more emails so that you can start to use email marketing more effectively? Because it's not about getting people to your site, and there's not enough that even things like remarketing or retargeting could do that is more effective than email marketing for actually taking leads and making them into customers. The next lesson, 4, is all about creating a promotional calendar. It's knowing what's coming down the pike next month so that you're not scrambling to adjust. There's no more of this, oh man, it's Black Friday. What do I do? How much do I put it on sale for? Is 20% enough? Is 30% enough? You already know what the rest of your year looks like, because you know what holidays you actually want to participate in, when you're going to be doing specific promotions, when you're going to be launching new products. So it's really important to get organized from the top down. The next lesson, 5, is the actual types of emails that you can send. So beyond this welcome sequence, as far as other nurture campaigns that you can run, other transactional emails, win back sequences for people who might have lapsed in their purchase or in their interaction with you. You want to be able to never lose someone, never allow them to leak out. And that's what email marketing does. It keeps people in your funnel. The next is email marketing in action, and this is where you get to see campaigns that are working now from some of the biggest businesses that are actually using email marketing effectively and successfully. So you'll be able to see what elements are common in successful email sending and sequences that allow you as a business owner to start taking advantage of it as a legitimate sales channel. And finally, lesson 7 will do a full dive into troubleshooting and optimization for you to be able to get more people to respond more consistently. And that's always important with an email. You don't want to be speaking to a dead list or a deaf audience. You want to make sure that everyone is engaged, and there are tactics that you can use all around your promotional strategy to make sure that people are getting these things open. So, As a quick review of Inboxed Income, what you'll get 7 video training lessons, a 30-page course workbook, lifetime access to the course and all other future updates. And you'll also get that step-by-step system and the email templates that you need to grow your e-commerce store. It gives you the opportunity to again map out your calendar for the year so you know exactly what will be selling and when. We'll dive into the 5 core campaign types so that you can make sure people are opening, engaging with your emails, and actually being converted through them. Will help you create a sales funnel that actually responds to customer behavior so that you can have it running in the background of your business and teach you how to leverage things like personalization and automation so that you can make these real connections and start to build relationships with people on your email list. That way, you'll get deeper engagement. You'll get responses to things like requests for product reviews and referrals to other customers. And of course, you'll get more sales from it. And as a bonus, we'll walk through MailChimp for e-commerce. I'll give you a virtual walkthrough of that so you can know how to set up emails and campaigns and triggers based on customer behavior. If you want to go more advanced, there will also be available a walkthrough of Clovia, which is a fantastic email service provider. It's a lot more integrated and a much richer experience if you really want to dive deep into what email marketing can do for your business. Um, you'll also get access to my holiday sales email strategy and templates, things that I've used with businesses that I consult for, so that you can actually run a sale without lowering the value of your brand. And that's really, really important if you want people to actually buy your stuff at full price. That's what really keeps a business running. And you'd also get access to a private Facebook community exclusively for inbox to income students and 2 live group coaching calls similar to this training where you can even submit your questions beforehand so that we can tackle them right on the training as well. And what's great about that is that Brittany will actually be joining me on these group coaching calls, and that she's gone ahead and actually created a bonus for you especially. And Brittany, go ahead and talk about this bonus a little bit.
Yeah, so I really wanted you guys to get as much value as possible out of this course. So I created a mini course. This is exclusively for my audience. So it's Intro to Flash Sales. And flash sales seriously can be a game changer for your business. And some of you already have your shops open, and maybe you have run a flash sale. However, since none of you are using email marketing hand in hand with running the flash sale, you aren't seeing exactly how successful they can be. So this course is going to talk about flash sales, how you can use them to emotionally connect with your customers. We're going to talk about some targeting ideas, email scheduling. I'm going to walk you step by step through how to embed those awesome countdown timers into your emails. And then there'll also be a printable worksheet email template to help you plan your flash sale campaign.
And on top of that, like Brittany said, we wanted to make sure that this was the most value-packed course possible. So as a fast action bonus, you'll also get access to Copy to Cash, which is my masterclass, my video-based masterclass on e-commerce copywriting. That's really, really important. If you want more of your ads to get more responses, if you want to be able to know how to sell your products with what you say about them. It's really important that you get the copy right, that you actually are making sure that you're connecting with the right customers. So All these bonuses on top of the course actually tally up to well over $1,400. But what we wanted to do was to make this course as accessible as possible for you. So you can register now. Register today for as low as $87 or one time payment of $297. Inbox to income actually begins next Monday. So in 7 days, we'll be opening up the course officially, and you'd get complete access to everything that we talked about. And right now, you can start for as low as $87 a month or one-time payment of $297. On your screen, you should see a button that will allow you to register immediately. You can go ahead and click that. Or you can go to the bit.ly link that you see on your screen, and that's bit.ly/ITI as inbox to income dash BO for Brittany Olson dash WS for webinar special. This is something that you would only get here. And again, it comes with a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. And it's really important to make sure that you are completely satisfied that you can actually start to see the system developing for your business. I want to make sure that you have complete access to that, that you want to be able to get those results. So we are offering this with a 100% money back guarantee. Just contact us within 30 days of your purchase. And again, what you'll get with Inbox Income if you register today, you'll get a technical walkthrough of MailChimp, a technical walkthrough of Clovio, email marketing, fantastic email marketing. Email service provider. You'll get a bonus holiday sales email strategy and templates from me. You'll also get Brittany's exclusive intro to flash sales mini course that's all video based, and she'll walk you through um, using flash sales from soup to nuts. Like she goes um, incredibly in detail on how to really set one up for success. You'll also get a private Facebook community just for students. It's completely peer led. It's something that allows you to not only work off each other, but of course, we'll be in the group to guide you and answer any questions you may have. And you, of course, get 2 group coaching calls with Brittany and I so that you can answer your questions in a live forum and be able to even submit things in advance so that we can tackle them for you and with you. So again, with all of that, and you get access to our fast action bonus, which is also Copy to Cash, my e-commerce email marketing masterclass. And that way you can actually use those skills that you learned there to inform your email strategy so that you can write more compelling copy, more conversion based copy on your emails. And that's for one payment of $297 or 4 monthly payments of $87. So right now, for the next couple minutes, we want to make sure that you can have access to it. But if you have any questions, go ahead. And please let us know in the chat if you have any questions at all that we can answer for you. So in the chat, just let us know if you have any questions. You can make that bubble red and ask a question. I see, again, Caitlin said, what is a good email marketing app or company to use? And depending on where you are in business, of course, MailChimp um, is quick and easy, great drag and drop kind of templates, and has um, some really good options as far as building something, but I'm also a very big fan of Clavio for a lot more in-depth integration. I see Stacy, she has a Poshmark closet. Doesn't allow you sharing email addresses. What do you advise? I personally always advise being on a hosted e-commerce platform. So something as simple as Shopify, where you get to own your experience and you get to brand it yourself and be able to take all the customer information that you need in order to make email marketing work for you. Shopify is not only free to start, but it's really intuitive to use. You can get set up. We've done just test experiments of being able to set up a store over a weekend. So for me, it's really important for the customers that I advise to make sure that you're doing something that could actually grow with you. So, Stacy, if you're like me and you actually want to have a large business, you don't want Poshmark holding you back.
Yeah, and if
Um,
I can jump in here, Terry,
Please.
they're actually on my website. There is the Boutique Bootcamp course, which is a week-long course to help you get set up on Shopify. So that'll just guide you right along if you need help with that.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Please take advantage of that. Jody has a question. Are you, Jody, can you rephrase your question? Are you asking if I'm aware of a particular statute? Aware. Okay. Awesome. No, can you reference exactly what you are asking about? Oh, anti-spam. Okay, so that's really important. So, for deliverability, it's really important that you are forming these customer relationships. Part of that is making sure that this is all permission based. So, if anyone lands on your site and there's an offer to maybe sign up for a special discount or a download or something like that, you always want to make sure that you are not only making sure that these are permission based offers, but that you always give someone the opportunity to unsubscribe at the end of your emails. And those are things that we go over in the course just to make sure that your deliverability isn't affected. That's one of the most important things. It'll be a total waste of your efforts to spend time building an email list and not being able to make sure that 100% of the people you send emails to actually get your email. So I'm definitely against spam in any form. I think that's the best thing about email is that people opt in. That tells you that they want to hear from you, and after they make that decision, it's your job to keep them interested and engaged. Jody, let me know if that answers your question. Caitlin, I see that you're saying, okay, awesome, Jody. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Maybe just a few more minutes. Just want to be able to answer any questions you might have about email marketing, about the course, about all the bonuses, and especially about Brittany's bonus of Intro to Flash Sales. I think it's going to be really important to integrate into your email strategy.
So Terry, I see Tammy's asking, can this class help you sell services if you want to use it more than for a boutique?
I think it is interesting. There are other platforms that might be more um, suited for service selling if you want to do it via email. There's a thing that I think both Brittany and I use ConvertKit. as opposed to MailChimp and Klaviyo. The course itself is designed for email marketing for e-commerce, but it will adapt well for just selling online. Some of the principles as far as establishing a promotional calendar, it's really important. If you were selling a service and let's say you had um, you know, you opened up for clients, every 3 months. If you're building an email list of a wait list of people, you want to be able to engage with them throughout their waiting period, so that when you actually are reopening, that service, you're able to bring them back in seamlessly as opposed to having to reacquaint them with what they want from you. Tammy, I hope that answers your question. Awesome, awesome. Glad to hear, glad to hear. Anyone else? The chat is open. If you have any questions, you can feel free to type them into your chat box to make them highlight and show up as red so I can see them quickly. You just pull down the little arrow. There's a drop down that says ask a question and where that little thought bubble, chat bubble is, just so that your question will show up red. All right, Heather, I see your question. What are your thoughts for a customer base via Instagram and Facebook only? For owners that do not wish to create a large base. Um, if you, I want to maybe get a little bit more insight as far as how you're selling consistently using Instagram and Facebook. I think that's the difference in that when you start to collect emails, you have a database of people that you can contact regularly with new offers, with new content, things that'll keep them interested and engaged. And part of that is actually owning your platform and owning that list. If you're building your store essentially on Facebook and Instagram and they change their rules or change their algorithms, you won't have access or reach like you have at this point. Things are always constantly changing. And of course, Facebook and Instagram, they're businesses as well. They want to make the most money. So they profit from people staying on their platforms. So it makes no sense to build a business on those platforms when you don't own any part of that. And that's why I'm moving to something like a Shopify where you can actually, own your domain and control your brand experience, do what you can to control the reach that you get, and also be able to save your customer email list and market to them directly as opposed to through a platform. I think that's really, really important. And that's a game changer if you want to be in business long term, regardless of how big you want that business to be. Heather, I hope that answered your question a bit. Oh, you're welcome, Caitlin. Great. Glad to hear, Heather. Happy to help. Um, It's about 9:10. I know if you're like, well, I'm personally preparing for a snowstorm, but even if you just want to call it a night, let us know. We just want to run the chat for maybe a few more minutes just to answer any residual questions. Um, Jody, if someone from Instagram or Facebook gives an email address, can you then email market to them? Uh, that is a little testy. I do believe if they, submitted a request and, they gave their email, then you can definitely start to email market to them, but just make sure that you have an option to unsubscribe at the end of every email so that you make sure that they don't end up marking it as spam for any reason. I think that's really, really important. So you have to, again, with something like a welcome sequence, you set that expectation. You said thank you for your inquiry via Instagram or Facebook, added you to our email list. As such, you'll be receiving occasional marketing emails from us. I think once you start to establish sequences like that, then the marketing process becomes a lot more clear. Oh, you're welcome, Jessica.
Thanks,
Great to
Jessica.
have you on. Penny, for brick and
Uh,
mortar stores, this is really, really interesting. So, what I think for a brick and mortar store is that um, if you are collecting emails, if customers are, having uh, emails sent to them as far as their receipts or things like that, if you're asking them as they purchase to sign up for your email newsletter, this is a perfect way to drive more foot traffic. It's super important that you're not relying on people just coming to your store when they remember to, but you want to make sure that you're positioning your store in front of their face as often as possible as long as it's relevant. So saying, hey, let's, sign up for our email newsletter and you'll get access to exclusive in-store sales that you won't, hear about elsewhere or something like that. That's a great incentive for them to start to sign up for your email list, and then you can definitely start to drive more foot traffic that way. Penny, I hope that answered your question. Awesome. Great, great, great. Anyone else? If you have any questions, this is your time to do it. And you can sign up for Inbox to Income. The class starts on March 20th, where you'll get access to not all of these awesome bonuses, but also um, uh, all the awesome bonuses as well as the full course content itself. Heather, um, I guess, will another offer be available if we cannot purchase today but want to start on the 20th? You can start again for as little as $87 a month. You can start that, and enrollment will be open for this week. So you would be able to purchase it this week. We'll probably shut everything down by Friday just to make sure that we know exactly who's going into the course so that we can start to schedule the group coaching calls and things like that based on everyone who's already active. So, Heather, I hope that answered your question. The one thing is that if you don't purchase today, you wouldn't get access to the fast action bonus, but you would get all of the other bonuses, the tech walkthroughs, the holiday sales, Brittany's intro to flash sales, plus access to the Facebook community and the coaching calls. Okay, Heather, great. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you being on. Um, any other questions? We're about a minute off. All right, it's 9:15 officially. So we've been hanging out for over an hour. Any last questions will be great. Go ahead and type that into the chat before we let you guys go back into your business or business planning, so that you can start to use this information as much as possible. And remember, with the replay email that you'll get tomorrow morning, you'll also get access to two free downloads that I just wanted to make sure you had, so that you can start to use that as well.
and guys, if you think of any questions this week, please feel free to email me or message me on Facebook. I'll be happy to help you out any way I can. Can we have
Cleopatra, do you mean an extension of the fast action bonus, or will the actual course still be open? The fast action bonus is a fast action bonus for a reason, of course, but the actual course with all the rest of the bonuses, including Brittany's exclusive bonus, will still be available.
Does that answer your question, Cleopatra? Yeah, so through this week, the end of the week, you'll still be getting everything except for the red text in the middle, which is super valuable for those of you who can sign up tonight.
Awesome. Great, great, Cleopatra. All right. Any last questions? We're going to do one more round. If anyone has a last question or comment for us, again, you can always message Brittany or email Brittany if you have any particular questions. If not, we're going to go ahead and say good night. So we definitely want to thank everyone for attending. We hope you got a lot out of this training, and you'll definitely be hearing from us throughout the week. For those who are jumping into Inbox Income, can't wait to start on the 20th. Brittany, any last words?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up, and thank you, Terry, for being here and giving us some really valuable information. And stay warm this week in that snowstorm.
I'll do my best. All right, thank everyone. Have a great night. Thanks so much.
All right, bye, guys.